Say, O mu'mineen, we have iman in Allah, in what has been revealed to us, and in what was revealed to Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ismail alayhi salam, Ishaq alayhi salam, Yaqub alayhi salam, and the descendants of Yaqub alayhi salam who were prophets. And we also have iman in whatever books and miracles was granted to Musa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, and what was granted to all the prophets from their Rabb. We make no distinction between any of them. We do not believe in some prophets while rejecting others like the Jews and the Christians do, and we are obedient to Allah. If they, the Jews and Christians, have Iman, just as you, mu'mineen, have Iman, then they are rightly guided. If they turn away, then they are determined to oppose you. Allah shall be enough for you against them. Allah is sufficient as your helper against their mischief, their harm, their enmity, and their obstinacy. He is all hearing, all knowing. It was not long after this verse was revealed that some of the Jews of Medina were exiled while others were executed. Say also, O Mu'mineen, and why they were executed and exiled? Because there was a peace treaty, there was a peace pact between the Muslims and the Jews of Medina.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a pact and there was a treaty that if the enemy attacks Medina, then Muslims and Jews will unite together and they will defend Medina, the state of Medina, together because uh,
Oh, I've
uh,
heard of this before.
yeah, because Medina was the homeland of the Jews as well as the Muslims
Mm,
at that time. However,
yeah.
in the Battle of Trench, uh, when the whole Arab gathered together in order to end Islam once and for all, the Muslims dug a trench around the city of Medina, but the Jews were conspiring. They were in the city, so they were conspiring from behind to attack the Muslims, and they were giving their what you may say. They were giving logistic information to the kuffar about the location of
So
the
they were
Muslims, and they were betraying the pact.
so they were basically backstabbing like the
Yeah,
Muslims.
they were backstabbing the Muslims and they broke the pact. And as a result, as
Mm.
a punishment, according to the
Mm,
Torah laws, when you break a pact like this, the punishment is that you are exiled and executed. So some of them were exiled from the state of Medina, and some
And
of
during
them
that,
so they were exiled?
what?
she said they were exiled, right?
Yeah, some of them were exiled and some of them were executed. At
Mm.
so they
So
were, yeah.
wait, during that time, it still had like the original Torah, right? From that time.
Some of the rulings were intact; they were not changed.
Oh, so it was basically still the original Torah from what the Jews believed.
Some part, yeah.
Some parts. Okay,
And
okay.
secondly, the final messenger was present alive at that time, so he had
Yeah.
all the knowledge, the what the Torah laws are, because Allah told the prophet, these are the things you have to do.
Mm,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. So the prophet was among them, and also there were some Jews who reverted to Islam, and they knew the book uh, very well. They knew the Torah very well. So there were some original parts of the Torah which were not changed yet.
Mm.
Anyway, so I just wanted to clarify this because here the detail is not written. So someone who may not have the background knowledge may think that Muslims were very cruel and why the Jews were killed. So I have given you the reason why it was done. Because there are non-Muslims who make these things an excuse to malign the name of Islam and to blame Muslims for all the wrongdoings and
Yeah.
etc. So if you have the background information, every action which the Prophet and the companions have acted upon, there is some background information behind it, and we have to thoroughly do our research in order to strengthen our own faith and iman, and in order to counter whatever propaganda uh, the non-Muslims want to do against Islam, or maybe to educate those sincere non-Muslims who are ignorant of the background information, and they are just the victim of propaganda. So we have to first of all clarify our own minds, and we have to firmly believe that our prophet, whatever he did was right, and this was the background information. These were the reasons which he did what he did, because prophets cannot go against the will of Allah. They are innocent, and they always obey the commands of Allah. So if
mm,
the Jews were executed, it was Allah's command. All
Mm.
right. Say also, O mu'mineen, Allah has colored, purified us with the natural deen of Islam, with which every child is born, who none can color purify better than Allah, and we are His worshippers. Okay, coloring here is
Mm.
an just a metaphor, and it means that say also o mu'minin. So the strong believers of Islam, the practicing Muslims, talking about it, the practicing Muslims say practicing Muslims, that to the non-Muslim, Muslims should say this to the non-Muslim, that Allah has instilled devotion and love in our hearts towards Islam, and we are only His worshippers. So this is what
Mm.
it is a meaning. I'm paraphrasing the meaning
Okay.
of this verse. When the Jews told the Muslims in Medina that prophets can be born only from the Bani Israel and not from the Arabs. So yeah, I have given you the background info that Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam had two sons. His first son was Ismail alayhi salam, which was from his second wife, because his first wife Sarah could not bear any children at that time. So he married a second woman called Hajar or Hajra, and
Mm-hmm.
her son was named as Ismail. He was his first son, and the second son was Ishaq alayhi salam. He was from Sarah, who was born later on. So
Mm.
both of his sons were prophets. Sayyidina
Yeah.
Ibrahim himself
Okay.
was a prophet, and both of his sons, who were stepbrothers to each other, they were also prophets. Now, Arabs are the descendants
Oh.
of, yeah. So, Arabs are the children of Ismail alayhi salam, Prophet Ismail alayhi salam.
mm,
And the
Mm-hmm.
Jews, Bani Israel, are the descendants or the children of Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam. So
Okay.
yeah, so Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam was the also the great great grandson of Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam. Then Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam had 12 sons. One of those was called Yusuf alayhi salam, and the second one was Binyamin. He was from another wife of Prophet Yaqub, and the 10 sons were from another wife. So they were stepbrothers to each other. So those 12 sons had uh, their children made up tribes of, and they created tribes or 12 tribes who were the descendants of those 12 sons of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam. Those 12 tribes are collectively called Bani Israel, and in modern terms we call them the Jews. Now the
Mm.
Jews also have two types, main types. One type is Orthodox Jews, or you can say um, Jews by DNA. So they are the true descendants of those people who are collectively called Bani Israel, who are the descendants of
Mm.
Prophet Ishaq alayhi
It's hard.
salam. Yeah. So genetically they are Jews. And they are
Mm-hmm.
Orthodox Jews, because in Judaism nobody can revert to or convert to Judaism if he is not a Jew. His mother has to be a Jewish by blood. She has to be a Jewish. She has to be a Jewish. She has to be this descendant of the Bani Israel or the Prophet Ishaq alayhi salam through one of those 12 tribes. Then only he can be a Jew. But if his mother
Mm.
is not a Jewish, then he cannot be a Jew. But he can be a secular Jew. That is the second type of Jews, which are today Jews. So They are secular Jews, and the Orthodox Jews are totally DNA based. Nobody outside that DNA can be. So Judaism in actually is a racist religion. So in Islam,
mm,
anybody can be devoted to Islam. He believes in Allah and he believes the final messenger. He's a Muslim, no matter what.
But in Judaism, you have to be born a Jew in order to
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
Jew,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing.
and that's what makes it racist. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. They are racist. Yeah. Okay. So what I was saying is that the Jews are very jealous of Muslims. That why the final messenger has been the son of uh, Ismail alayhi salam. Why not Ishaq alayhi salam? Why not from among them? This is their problem.
Mm.
Otherwise, they still to this day they know that Islam is the true religion. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the true prophet, because their Torah has mentioned time and again about the final messenger and his characteristics, and all the characteristics are fit to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
So,
They have the knowledge, they have the understanding, they have the intelligence. Mind you, Jews are one of the most genius people of the world. Most Nobel Prize winners are Jewish, and most of the heads of multinational companies or multinational companies in the world, they are Jews. So Jews are very intelligent people. They are very genius people. However, they are evil genius. They are using their intelligence for wrong purposes.
mm.
Uh,
mm,
so they understand the deen, but they don't accept it out of jealousy and ignorance and arrogance. So this is the problem. This is what is being mentioned here, that when the Jews told the Muslims in Medina that prophets can be born only from Bani Israel and not from the Arabs, Allah revealed the command stating, "Say to the Jews, do you argue, debate with us about Allah, about this choosing a prophet from the Arabs? So this is the thing of Allah to choose to whom he makes a prophet and to whom he makes no. Who are the Jews to say anything or object anything, or who are any other nation who object anything? So this is totally stupid argument, stupid statement. Do you argue,
Mm.
debate with us about Allah, about this choosing a prophet from the Arabs, when he is our Rabb and your Rabb, and therefore has the right to choose whoever he wills? And when our actions are for our benefit, making us worthy of having a prophet from among us, and your actions are for your benefit, and when we are sincerely his sincerely devoted to his deen.
Mm.
mm.